getting on the nitty-gritty of the wonky stuff, 350 parts per million is a very radical idea in the world of the governmental negotiators. And yet, 80% by 2050 was a radical idea until things like Step It Up started to get going. So given their track record, I think I have a lot of faith in their ability to make 350 a viable and acceptable number for us to be thinking about. And I also just want to point to the Campus Climate Challenge. They organized 6,000 students last November in Washington, D.C. I helped train them. 3,000 of them went to the Hill to lobby their representatives. They testified. It's incredible what they're doing. So everybody should go on to campusclimatechallenge.org and give them money and join. Next, I have the honor of introducing Mariel Hemingway. As the granddaughter of the illustrious author Ernest Hemingway, Mariel was always destined to be well-known and publicly recognized. However, at only 13, she became famous in her own right when she made her silver screen debut in Lipstick. 4 years later, her work in Woody Allen's Manhattan earned her an Oscar nomination. Over the last 22 years, she has been pursuing her passion for yoga and health and is now seen as a voice of holistic and balanced living, sharing her insights about yoga, meditation, nutrition, and home. Mariel's second book, called Mariel Hemingway's Healthy Living, From the Inside Out, was released in January 2007. Additionally, she is producing her grandfather's book, A Movable Feast, for film. And Mariel and her husband, Steve Christman, have partnered up with Bex Wilkinson on a new product, Mariel's Kitchen, organic, healthy food line. I'm very excited about that coming to market. So welcome, Mariel.
I have to say, it's always awkward talking in your own hometown. I get really nervous, and I do a lot of talks all around the country. Anyway, if you went to school with me, I've changed. I'm different. I'm not 18 anymore. No. I wrote a book. Actually, my first book was Finding My Balance, and I think that many in the community are aware of that book. I wrote it about my own personal life through the eyes of yoga and how I've been on my own journey to discover who I am through yoga, through connecting with myself, with understanding my family, understanding this incredible valley that we live in, and connecting with nature, and how nature and this valley really informs who I am today. This is an amazing, amazing place to live, as you all know. I mean, it's incredible. And I really honor you, Kip, for putting this together, and thank you, and Amy, and so many people who really know how important it is for a community like Sun Valley to get behind the green movement. And it's so hard to use the word green or sustainable because they're kind of misused now, as my friend Dale Bates says. They're kind of used as a way to buy more things. And the truth is it's more about eco-consciousness. How can we change our consciousness to become more connected to the place that we live in? And we live in an incredible place. So how do we get more of a connection to that place? I mean, I know that all of us here are very much into nature. And we want to, we want to feel that, and we do. But how can we really, really understand that connection to this valley, to these mountains, to the air that we breathe, to the beauty of this environment, really informs who we are as people and actually helps us to make different choices in our lives. And those choices are important to how the environment is. But first of all, I bring that to my second book, Healthy Living from the Inside Out, which is about home and food and exercise and silence. And I believe that they are 4 cornerstones that inform your life to being the healthy and most balanced person that you can be personally. Because being balanced, being environmentally conscious or eco-conscious is a personal journey. I mean, yes, as May was saying, this is a community thing and we can all do things and we can do that as a community, but we also have to think of ourselves as individuals, the person that we are inside, and how do we connect to our spirit, to our sense of being green, to our sense of nature, to our connectedness with God. I mean, here we are in the church, and really Sun Valley is a church of many different colors, and it has the ability to move us to making greater and better decisions in our lives, better choices in our lives. And I think that Sun Valley can be at the forefront of these kinds of choices. And I think that we are starting this by doing this weekend. But I'll get back to home, food, exercise, and silence as being kind of these cornerstones in your personal journey towards eco-consciousness. And I'm talking about eco-consciousness in your own personal body, in your mind, and in your spirit. I wrote the book because I'd been through a life of a lot of insecurity. I grew up feeling extremely self-conscious, and probably why I got up here and apologized for being, not 18 or because I grew up in this community. But I was in a business that judged you tremendously harshly because of the way that you look or the way that your last greatest success or something like that. And so my journey was about how do I become more strong in the person that I am, the individual that I am. And I had to do that through food. Initially, my journey with food was terrible. It was a journey about, controlling food and eating less and being as skinny as the most successful actors out there, or doing all kinds of crazy things to make me like somebody outside of myself. And the truth is, I had to understand that my journey with food was about the journey of inside myself. And that brings me right back to the green question, because now the journey of food for me is about how do I connect to nature? How do I lessen the carbon footprint of, from field to my plate, so that I actually have a deeper connection with the food so I feel better about me. And that sounds like a selfish thing to say, but the truth is we all will not go out there and make a difference unless we feel actually connected to what we're talking about. And that starts with the food that we eat. That starts with the water that we drink. Should we be buying water that comes from several countries away, or should we be, getting filter systems for our own homes so that we're drinking our own water? I mean, Sun Valley, we're quite fortunate because we can drink our water, or if you have a well, you have incredible water. But we're fortunate here. But we have to understand that our connections are really strong and in creating balance and creating an eco-consciousness of the self. And I think that's a really important thing to understand. So then we move on to our exercise. I mean, everybody who lives up here is always outside. I mean, they're always going. And I know now that there's been daylight savings, everybody's out there riding their bikes. It's still snowing and, 35 degrees. And I see people on their bikes, and I see people skiing, and I see people running, and doing all these things. These are incredible ways to connect with the valley that we live in. Not everybody's so lucky to be able to be in the outdoors the way that we are. But that kind of connection to our environment, because that is the connection, and that is what will make you make a difference, because you will feel that air that you breathe when you're running or biking or doing whatever you do, or skiing or snowboarding or having fun at the party later on tonight, that air that you breathe is important to stay as clean and crisp and clear for your well-being, for your internal journey of being yourself. And then that leads me to home. This is your home. Sun Valley is your home. But your body is your home. Your home is your home. Your house is your home. And what does it mean? Your home, and in fact Dale told me this, ego means home. Is that right? In Latin, ego means home. So eco-consciousness is a home consciousness. And home is everywhere that we are. So find the home within yourself. How do we connect to the home within us? How do we find sacred space within our own home, our own body, and our own environment? And I talk about ways of doing that in the book. There are many different suggestions of how you can create your own sacred space within your actual physical home, and creating sacred space within your body, so that you actually feel that connection to spirit and that connection to silence. Because the final thing that I speak about, and I think is probably the most important thing to take away for yourself and for this journey that we're all going on, because I really believe that the journey of ego consciousness of the self is a spiritual journey. And that's very important. So then when you connect to your spiritual journey of ego consciousness, you're actually creating space, sacred space, so that your entire environment and all the people around you are part of a collective. You're creating space so that other people will join you. But you have to independently and personally create that internal space so that you feel it within you, because that energy that you put out there will draw people in to join the bandwagon, to do the many things that May was speaking about. Because you've created this space that says, I want to make a difference because I've already made a difference in myself. So I do believe that eco-consciousness, greening your life, sustainability is within you first. It's first connecting with you. And silence is a big part of that. I called it silence because in mainstream America, if you say meditation, they think you're, I don't know, you're like bowing down to some wacky guru in India, which I find no problem with, but there are many people in the Midwest that think that's really not good. So I called it silence, and silence can be meditation, or silence can be, it can be running. It can be a bath for some people. It can be a wonderful walk through these woods, or, it can be any connection with nature. But silence informs who we are and it gives us time, again, creates sacred space, creates consciousness within you where you can ask yourself questions and get answers from within what works for you. So the important journey for me, or message for me to kind of give to you, is that my own personal journey is about looking inside and seeing what can I do for myself that will create a space that will enable other people to join me. And they'll want to, because they'll feel your energy growing and becoming more connected. Because truly, this movement of ego consciousness is a collective movement. But our spiritual journey is also a collective movement, but it starts with our personal journey. So we have to do our personal homework in order to connect with the environment and the people without and around us, so that the collective can actually make a huge difference. So that India and China actually, at some point, wakes up and goes, wow, something's going on the other side of the world, and that movement continues. But that's what we're all here to do. And my personal thing is, how can you be the best you can be? The most important and best personal you that is connected to your own self, your own connection to spirit, so that you can make a difference in your life. So thank you.